Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview. This time covering VCT Americas Stage 2 for week 4 of the competition. My guest at this time is, as you guys know, JoshRT of G2. This time coming off of their match against FURIA, in which they came out victorious 2-0, winning relatively clean and continuing their journey in said regular season. And so, Josh, pleasure to talk to you as always, and pleasure to talk to you after a W. I would say probably the most cleanest victory that you guys have experienced so far in this season. First and foremost, customary question: how are you feeling? What's going through your mind? What are the emotions? And how happy is it for you to come out of this with a W?
I'm always happy after a W like this, especially a clean 2-0, where I feel like there's not many mistakes. And even if there were mistakes, the boys were able to rally and still win out of disadvantaged rounds. That's something that we've been working on. But yeah, it's a confident win. It's a confident win. I know their situation is not always the greatest because they just got their coach in, and there's visa issues and whatnot. But I'm really happy for Andre Baby to get such a clean 2-0 underneath his belt.
Yeah, like it's fair to say that Baby Bay kind of played like one of his most best performances yet for this team, and so also like obviously there's a little bit of slight um issues in regards of like the question mark that Furia might have presented to you guys, with what might happen, what you guys, what would they throw to you guys? And so, coming out of this with a very clean victory, always good to see. I mean, there was a moment in which Baby Bay finished off a play with an ace, and obviously he popped off on that. Kind of fed into the rest of the squad. What was that? Emotion like just to see him perform and continue to contribute to the team in a relatively great manner, I would say.
I mean, it was awesome to see. That ace was 3 seconds, 4 seconds. So it was all headshots. I was on the screen. It's like across the map in corroded spawn, and very surprised. Like everyone was so happy. And that's something I really enjoy about this team. That like we're always happy for each other's successes. I think that's like a hallmark of any good team, right? But yeah, this has been off a very fractured practice week. Um, there was some reps for Leaf and some reps for Baby Bay, and Leaf wasn't his 100%. So we decided like, hey, he should rest and make sure like he comes back 100%. So we ended up starting at Baby Bay, and we're definitely pleased with the result. This is one of those weeks where we just wanted to have a confident win after a tough practice week, I would say.
Yeah, most definitely. And you kind of put up a poll talking about like the Leaf dynamic with Baby Bay on Twitter, roughly putting in a poll like saying, hey, who should start? Should it be Leaf? Should it be Baby Bay? Or should it be both? The both option won, but you kind of like say, oh no, it's because of a technicality. It's going to be Baby Bay that, started off or became the starter for this week. And so, I mean, very, very comedic run for you. But
Yeah.
it kind of does bring out the question as to like where Leaf is at right now. You mentioned about giving Leaf some reps with the team now. Is it fair to say that he's finally getting better? Is he kind of like close to 100%, or are we not really that there yet?
It's actually we were very very optimistic. That's why I chose Baby Bay over other possibilities, right? Um, and at the time, like with the information that we had at the time, we thought like he would actually come back really soon. Um, and so like we were actually targeting for this week as a comeback. And then sometimes like not all the best plans pan out, and so there were some complications. So we figured like okay, we could we can shoot for next week as a starting point for Leaf. But he's been participating practices. It's been in integration since like week 2 actually. So I would start with like early in the week, let him play a few, and then now it's more like we were actually looking to start him for free, but like I said, complications occur. So it is what it is. We accept that reality, and we're gonna do the best we can with the mind, like as strong as a mental as possible, and that's something that Andre can always provide. Since he's definitely our vibe merchant at this point, right? So, and it's now being very infectious, and it's spreading throughout the whole team, and like they're also kind of embodying that. And we're actually noticing other teams are now copying our flow a little bit. We saw a little bit of that in yesterday's game, but you try to learn from the best, right? So
I don't
yeah.
know why. I don't know why, but like this is one meme in which there's a clip of like Soldier Boy being in the Breakfast Club radio show, like he's stealing my whole effing flow, word for word, bar for bar. It's kind of like that. It's a random thought I wanted to put out there. But going back into Leaf real quick, percentage wise, where is he at?
Um, I can't say for sure. Let's say it's above 70%, but or like 60% probably. But like again, like I can't like fully. Even if I knew, I wouldn't be able to confidently say it. And it's honestly up to like his progress, and I just don't want to put like a hard deadline. Like when he comes back, he'll be ready.
Yeah. Now moving on over to just sort of the dynamic with this current version of the team with BABYBAY. Obviously, I had plenty of opportunities to play to talk to some of your teammates in Valorant and Jonah P about what's it like having BABYBAY, and it's kind of echoing what you've been saying about this. A BABYBAY have being the vibes merchant, just having to, or more so, him helping you guys open a new dimension of this team, just being a much more lighthearted side, a more lighthearted team, on one that can embrace the funny side of competition. And so, for yourself, JoshRT, from your perspective, how has his energy, his vibe, matriculated into the system that you guys already have in place, and just having to, include him and also adapting with him in mind?
So it like this is something identified with like other teams, but also like something we have lost probably. I would say like once you become a favorite and you're expected to win, and like there's some pressures on that, and when you have high expectations within the group, sometimes you miss it. In Those are always tough, right? Like sometimes you don't play as well as you should have, and I didn't like how like sometimes the players would talk to each other at times, and it's more like you can try to coach that in, or you can have a role model to kind of lead that. So I kind of did both, right? And Andre is a great role model for that. Like he understood the vision, and like he knew that like this is a short stint. What it is, right? But it's like that it's that Moneyball clip when Brad Pitt was talking to that older player, like, "Hey, let's be real with each other. Like, you and I know what we're gonna try to do here. You just want the last time in the limelight, right? Like your last run, and I want you to be a leader and like a locker room presence." And that's pretty much what it was, right? So I wanted Andre to give that um like literal veteran experience and mentorship to Jake and Trent and Jonah and just all the players. Like what what happens when you bring the vibes up and try to defend that. And so that's something we want to bring into our team environment, and something that we are going to try to do into the internationals, right? Because it's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of like a mental game, and I would argue the mental game is like one of the most important, because I feel like our strategy and our shooting and all that, like it's strong. So what else can we work on? It's probably going to be the mental game, and some might argue like we crumbled in high pressure moments in Bangkok against T1, and you can only do so much as a coach in the half times and the timeouts, because in between all those, round by round, like I can't just burn a timeout after we make a mistake. We need a good mistake response. We need to have a bounce back mentality and just go next. Goldfish memory, whatever it is, like that helps you like get back into it. But just having someone just like tries to bring the vibes up at that time, that's only something a player can do, and we just needed like a role model for that. So that's kind of like how Andre is able to provide his value, and something that we can always take away even after Baby Bay leaves.
I want to ask you this question out of curiosity, since you've been mentioning about like Baby and the Leafs impending return. Hopefully, whenever he does get ready, he arrives. You guys already have champions ticket locked up, so whatever, regardless of what happens in stage 2, you already have that trip secured. So you're gonna go over there into Paris. With Leafs impending arrival, I kind of want to know, like, you know, with his return to the lineup in the future, are you guys thinking of like having Baby stick around with the team just to be like a hype man? Because like obviously, his inclusion, from how you've been kind of describing, has been very crucial to the evolution of this team. And so, do you feel like, if he's not there, would that kind of like not happen as usual as right now, or have you kind of put that into thought for the future?
I mean, we're gonna look to try to bring him, but no promises, no guarantees, of course. Like we like his impact in practice environment. But even if he's not there, now it's been very easy for me to like. Before, I would always say like, you got to do this, this, this. Like, this is what you need to do to bring the vibes up and like try to keep things light and like make sure you're mentally strong in those moments. But now it's so easy to just reference it. You know, like now that like they've actually experienced it, I can easily just reference it. And now we're actually hypersensitive to when the vibes drop and like things are just kind of dropping. Before we kind of took it for granted because like every team knows like we're such a good like brotherhood type team. We've also practiced our mental resiliency multiple times, and we're known for that. But like I said, there's a process in this a story, a process a team goes through, and sometimes you forget or you forget how it was before, like what made you so strong in the first place, and now you could just bring very recent example like remember when Andre did this and like we brought it back right away. You know, we can now there's our internal data within the team that we can just look to. um, but yeah, I mean, we also have to be prepared for any sort of reality in the future where whether it be Nate coming back and Andre's out, or if Nate can't come back and we need to use Andre for this moment, or for the rest of the season. As a team, like that's something that we always have to be mindful of. And like I said, there's no guarantees in life, and it's just up to me to try to prepare for any sort of any reality that may occur.
One more question I want to squeeze in before I wrap this up. With this stage, seeing, as you've been saying, the more focus onto just being um, much more, or not having plenty of stress onto yourselves compared to prior seasons. Do you feel like this stage has been the most eye-opening for this team and just having to understand yourselves even further?
Yeah, I mean, I the thing is, I have to stress, like, I knew this was kinda gonna happen, and I watched how the 2 teams that beat us in Toronto beat us, Paper X and Fnatic, and how, how much fun they have on stage, and they're able to put that pressure, like, boasters dancing in front of us after a clutch, and we know, like, I can see it on their faces, on my players' faces, and they tell me they almost, like, give me a little bit of a lie, like, "Nah, it doesn't affect me," or whatever, like, "Nah, I can clearly see," like, and when we win a big round, where's our celebration? How do you make them crumble mentally? And I figure like let's up that tool belt. Like, like let's sharpen those tools that like we know we have because that was present in our ascension run. We were standing up, we had and credit to like Net, a former teammate, like he was that guy that would yell and everything. And sometimes you forget what you lost a little bit. And yeah, and then like in year 24, we had more of an underdog mentality. So of course, like it was very easy to be resilient. Honestly, if you have a high belief in yourself and you're an underdog, you're like screw everybody, we can beat them, right? But now it's the tables have turned. We're more expected to win, and that's a whole set of like um, mental battles that you have to go through, right? So that's something that we're continuously like working on, making sure our tools are sharp as well as like in-game strategy and whatnot. Like that's always going to be a thing. And hopefully, like y'all can see, the public can see, like we are getting better at that front as well. That's not going to be ignored. But I think the most obvious is like what what kind of impact Baby Bay has brought to the team.
And hopefully this evolution can continue working for G2 well into the future, and especially after this weekend. So, Josh, massive pleasure as always for another interview. Thank you so much. And of course, best of luck goes to the rest of the team and yourself for the journey ahead.
Thank you, and I just want to shout out to my players for like believing in the process. This is obviously a weird way of going about it, but they're all honestly taking the lessons, and hopefully the G2 fans can see that they're all improving, and that's what we're trying to peak for champs. Okay, so thank you.